Radyo-Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo-Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, 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 katipunan, radyo, katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pera. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawan ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing hiding at tigil.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM.
In 3, 2, 1. What's poppin', and welcome to Popcorn with Cholo Sediaren, your stop for all things pop, where we talk about all things pop culture from here in the Philippines to the rest of the globe. And we're back again after quite some time lang. As things go on this show, life goes on, and we try to go back here on the show when we can. So welcome back, everyone. Happy to be back. I am now blonde, as you can see, or if you're hearing this, just search up my photos. I don't know. I'm just saying that I'm a blonde now. So wala na magawa sa buhay. But anyway, let's welcome back our co-hosts for the day before we begin with our show, which will be sort of like a catch up of some latest news lang, or some of the big things in pop culture happening right now. Let's welcome back Paula. Hello, Paula.
Hey, let us know, Cholo, if blondes really do have more fun. Yeah, keep us posted.
Well, blondes, period. I'm not sure about fun. We live in this place, and just
all right, fair enough.
I mean, we try to. It's the only fun that we have. But anyway, si Paula rin, meron siyang mga streaks of color in her hair. So, we do what we can to like appease ourselves in these times. Purns is also back, our resident newscaster talaga, resident reporter. And of course, from the rest of the globe talaga, dahil we have our new correspondent from Chicago, Illinois, Deany. Welcome back.
Yes! Glad to be back.
From the other side of the world that, is experiencing
the better side of the world right now.
Better things in life.
Congrats to you, Deany.
And he has been blessed by, getting to watch cinema, getting to watch concerts. Grabe.
Yeah.
How has that been? I guess for for the sake of our listeners and viewers, can you share like some experience about how it's back, how it feels to, have a different pace of life?
Sure. It's been weird, Everyone, when you say you're going back to a new normal, you can't really, because you're very conscious about, I'm standing a bit too close to this person, or why are these people sitting right next to me when there are open seats like far away? And it's like you generally still have to wear masks indoors, and like some venues will ask for proof of vaccination, some won't. But masks are still a general must. But just in terms of getting back to normal, I think it's happening and it feels great. Like aside from the initial weirdness of being more conscious about the distance of other people, which we didn't used to do pre-pandemic, it's just great to be back among people, like in any context, to just kind of feel someone accidentally bump against you on their way somewhere. It's a weird feeling that, you know, it's you miss when you haven't done it for like 2 years. So good luck to y'all. Hope y'all get to experience that soon.
You know, as Olivia Rodrigo says, good for
Good
you.
for you.
Good for you. But
I was
You
just
look
listening,
happy
man.
and healthy. Like,
literally, Deany
honestly.
does. He really does at this point in time. But anyway, yeah, I mean, yun na nga, we do really aspire to have that soon enough. But because of that, here's a PSA. Let's be socially responsible on this show. Syempre, papalapit na talaga ang election. We cannot avoid it. And it's really coming. You can see your social media feeds heating up with all the colors of whatever colors that you
Yeah.
would want to raise. Of course, we have our own colors. Which we will not expound further in this episode because that will just take long enough. Maybe sometime else. But anyway, elections are coming. Candidacies have been set, hopefully without any substitutions. But here's your chance also to register for the last 17 days because your registration for elections or for voting ends on October 30th. So if you have the time, make time. Or if you have the time, please do so. If you don't have the time, try to make
Make
time
time
for it.
for it. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people, it's kind of a hassle I've seen online, but kudos to everyone talaga na, alam mo yun, they've been doing their part because, you know, we just all want to achieve a better future for all of us. And hopefully, you know, and in the coming months, it will be somehow of you know, it's gonna be difficult for sure to try and go through that whole election period. Ngayon pa lang, pre-elections pa lang, medyo mainit na. So go do your part, register to vote, and
Yeah,
if you
exercise
already,
your right.
yeah, and if you're already registered, go check your
Yes.
voter
Yes, make
status.
sure everything's in line.
Yeah,
order.
because I think
Very
I've seen
important.
some posts na some people pala have been deactivated or something like that. So, yun, that's our PSA, of course. And do all the research and, of course, no to all those people and candidates who are just no.
Yep. And if you're living overseas, it's also very easy to register for overseas voting. Like
Oh,
props to the consulate here for making it relatively hassle-free.
that's great.
Hindi na niya kailangan hintayin yung pila sa sinehan for like it's like the new Squid Game Hunger Games edition
My
of
God.
and okay, and that leads us to our, you know, September kind of October na pala, October roundup of news and events in the Philippines and wherever. That leads talking about cinema and Deany watching cinema, people lining up in cinema for voters registrations, vaccinations. Cinemas are apparently gonna open here in the Philippines in Manila to limited resumption. It's a limited resumption under alert level 3. So that it's starting, I think, October 16th. So that's, I guess, good news for some of us who will try and risk. Hindi naman risk, but like who are just really like so sabik to watch
Yeah.
something on the big screen. We've missed so much blockbusters and we've spoken about it time and time again. And I think Deany has a comment about blockbusters we've definitely missed in cinema.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird it's a weird window because there's definitely been a lot of blockbusters over the last 2-3 months that I feel like are gonna be pushed into that 2-week timeline.
Uh-huh.
You guys are probably definitely getting Shang-Chi and the new Bond are, I will say, the locks to come out in cinemas if they're limited time slots. If they make room for some other stuff, I can see you might get a little bit of Titan just because it's gotten so much hype. And you might get Dear Evan Hansen. I hope you guys get Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh God.
Of all of the 4 movies I just listed, Dear Evan Hansen is the one you must see in a theater. Like that is what I will say about Dear Evan Hansen. Since we
Oh my
haven't done it.
God.
I mean, actually, I've already seen Dear Evan Hansen. And I was saying naman na despite all the internet shenanigans, na it's not that bad, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
It's just like something I just watched just so I could watch something and, as a bucket list na, okay, I'll watch it pa rin regardless of what people say. And yeah, I'm just gonna say na parang, sayang lang kasi they removed like majority of the emotional stuff, especially in the parent side, if you're a fan of that. And I really just feel like they only retained one song, which is the mom. What's her name?
So Big So Small.
Yeah, So Big So Small. The mom. There are 2 moms there.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore. I was gonna say Rachel Bay Jones. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, my theory is that they cut the songs because like Julianne Moore couldn't hit Rachel Bay Jones's notes.
I'm pretty sure.
That's my working.
So why cast Julian Moore in the first place?
Celebrity clout or something. And I feel like may contractual parang and something with Amy Adams not singing, which is kind of like weird. They should
Yeah.
Weird.
Giselle, she's supposed to sing.
She sings like a little bit. She isn't the lead, but she does sing in Requiem.
But it's kind of like, parang, what do you call this? They're saying there's some sort of Amy Adams curse happening right now with all her latest releases. Like The Woman in the Window not doing well either. Or something like that.
Okay, we'll just wait until Enchanted 2. That's just gonna go away.
Hopefully.
She also has an upcoming movie where she apparently plays someone who is slowly turning into a dog or something like that.
Oh.
It's weird. Amy Adams' career is getting weird, guys.
That's what happens after Dear Evan Hansen. What they made her do.
My goodness.
And anything else in terms of Dear Evan Hansen comments? Well, I feel like it's just really not the right platform or medium for that story. And a story, I may add, na it's already a bit outdated from the time it came out in 2018. The Zoomers weren't a thing yet in 2018, so they couldn't have canceled Dear Evan Hansen just yet. But parang it just doesn't translate too well into film because I feel like it's so suburban and nothing like grand. It's not like a grand musical talaga to really parang connect to people through the medium of film. So that's where it loses a lot of the charm of the original Broadway musical.
Also, Stephen Chbosky doesn't seem like the type of director to know how to direct a musical either. So there is that.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And yung may meme na lumabas, or hindi naman siya meme, but like may parang video na lumabas. Kasi the part where he says, on the outside, always looking in, he was on the inside.
He was on the inside.
Looking outside.
But I mean...
Make it make sense.
I guess congrats to Mark Platt and Ben Platt who really stood his ground in wanting to appear in this adaptation.
Yeah.
Lord.
One more Dear Evan Hansen thing is they cut 3 songs, 2 of which I think are the most important songs in the musical, which is Anybody Have a Map and Good For You.
Yeah.
Because I think the first song I don't think the Dear Evan Hansen is the character in the title, but I think the play or the musical is at its best when it's centered on the parents.
Yes.
Exactly.
And because it leads with waving from a window, I forget. It centers Evan Hansen and decenters the parents,
Yeah.
which makes this story so much weaker because Evan Hansen is just not particularly sympathetic or like interesting as a character. No
Yeah.
offense. And then Good For You is the song that makes it clear that the musical writ large is not pro what he's doing. It's very critical of Evan
There's
Hansen.
accountability for him.
Uh-huh.
And cutting that out kind of makes it weak. Like he kind of gets away with a lot. Like if I were Caitlin Deaver, I would not have like had anything to do with him after that. I wouldn't even have looked at him. It's like
Valid.
not having that song and not having the movie just explicitly say, no, this is messed up, is, I think, a point against it because it muddles up the ending. I don't think Chbosky, to Paula's point, was interested in making a complicated musical. I think he just wanted to make a sad boy high school drama.
It was basically, it looked like Perks of Being a Wallflower from the few scenes that I've
musical.
seen. Yeah.
But a musical. Yeah, I mean, I guess Olivia Rodrigo stopped them from doing Good For You because that will take more of her royalties as as they already did in the last few months. Kasi nga, diba, the whole Paramore, Misery Business, Taylor Swift, all the people coming for Olivia Rodrigo for no good reason but to come after her. Yeah, anyway, so that's for Dear Evan Hansen. We do have a lot of feelings about Dear Evan Hansen. But yeah, Good For You is like, I've seen Rachel Bay Jones, Good For You. It's like really a power song, and I'm really sad that it wasn't there. Anyway, so speaking of movies, new trailer just came out, which is Scream 5, or also known as just Scream again, and also known as, from one of the tweets that I've read, 5 Cream, which is a pun on play on words. S is a 5. Kasi in Scream 4, the A was a 4.
The A was
They missed on that opportunity of just making it 5. But anyway, I'm just gonna say I was telling Paula this last night or earlier today or last night. I'm not too sure.
It was last night. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Ghostface is really my horror movie serial killer bias. I'm so glad he's back. And, you know, I'm just really, I mean, if you're a fan of the movies, or if you're a fan of movies in general and scary movies, kasi the meta angle of Scream, kasi diba talaga, ever since the first movie is really like, do you like scary movies and all the callbacks to different tropes, everything. And now it's the newest generation of Scream. Neve Campbell looks amazing still for some reason. I mean, she's one of those gifted actresses who have she's one of those gifted actresses who got the eternal youth look and not the white gene, not the white aging gene, I guess. But I'm just really excited for this. I mean, I don't know how they're complete. At least based on this first trailer, hindi pa evident how they're gonna switch it up or modernize it in the most modern way. But the fact that I think they allowed this to happen even after Wes Craven's passing, they got the blessing for this latest version of Scream. I guess it means it's there's something innovative that's about to be revealed in the movie. And not to say that I didn't like Scream 4, because I feel like that's one of the strongest entries also in the franchise. I really loved Emma Roberts on that one. And you know, that felt very modern at in 2011 na parang, oh, it's a new generation 25 years after the original, something like that. Yeah. So parang that's my thoughts on Scream. I just, you know, I was also telling Paula na it must be fun to be like chased down after Ghostface and survive it, but very traumatic too.
I feel like fun is the wrong word. There must be another word. Yeah, thrilling, I think, would be better.
But with my stamina, I feel like I won't be able to outrun Ghostface and probably, I don't know.
Let's train on cardio just so we can have enough
Yeah, so I can
to
like
run from a
come on the
serial killer.
Ghostface.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, what are your thoughts on Scream 5 so far?
Well, I watched the trailer because you told me to. In the light of day, because I could not watch it in the middle of the night when you first sent it to me. And to be fair, even if I knew, because the trailer starts and it's similar to the beginning of the first Scream film, right? And even if I knew what was going to happen, I still did get the chills. I did get scared, like na jump scare ako sa kanya when Ghostface first appeared. So kudos, I think, like if you can get me to jump like that in the trailer pa lang, then what more when with the actual film? So exciting.
Yeah, Deany?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the trailer, but I have seen like details about the film. The two things that I want to point out is just one, Melissa Barrera is in it, and I love Melissa Barrera, so that's gonna get me to the cinema alone. But also, the directors for this one have me pretty excited because they were the ones who did Ready or Not. And
Right.
Oh, okay, I'm watching.
Okay, that bodes well.
Yeah, Ready or Not is one of the sort of most fun slashers of the past few years, and like it's one of those movies where if it's on, like I don't care, I will sit down and I will probably end up watching most of it. It's
Great.
it's just really fun. So and because I think that's the spirit of Scream, like very much the spirit of Ready or Not, of simultaneously being like scared and trying to survive, but also like
Laughing.
being acutely aware of how ridiculous
Exactly.
the situation is, and like, is this really happening to me? So it's fun. I'm very excited. I think that combination bodes well. I think that's the tone this franchise needs to hit. So exciting things.
Sana talaga. And props to Sydney for surviving 4 ghost faces and still being alive. I mean,
Good for her.
yeah,
Good
I
for
mean,
her.
see, Laurie Strode had to have a reboot to like have a better story after her sequels. So I guess Sydney is like one of the supreme final girls or something like that. Yeah. Just to lang, I just wanna really like push Scream 4 because I feel like it didn't get as much love as it should have. And the fact that the ghost face reveal there was pretty different from the first 3. Yun lang. I just love.
We can make it happen.
Yeah, I just love.
That was pre-Twitter. Like, we saved Jennifer's body, we can save Scream 4.
Oh yeah.
Body.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Jennifer's body is on Criterion Channel now. We straight up saved Jennifer.
Wow.
Love Jennifer's body.
So yeah, I mean that is Scream 5. Anything else, Burns?
Oh no, I have nothing. But now that I know it's the director of Ready or Not, I will.
He's watching
definitely
it.
I am watching it now.
Yeah, and speaking of Scream 5, well, happy Spooktober pala sa lahat. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's a fun month to watch all the spooky things. And I mean, regardless naman what time of the year it is, you can watch spooky things. I watch spooky things whenever, but you know, some people just save it for Halloween month. And you know, spooky things are happening every day outside our doors. Anyway, and speaking of comebacks, after the comeback of Ghostface, one of the biggest comebacks of the year, which just came out of nowhere, but people were kind of expecting it already in some capacity, is the return of the comeback of Miss Adele Adkins. She is back
Yes.
with the album 30, which was all over the globe. They had projections and billboards in, I think, the Eiffel Tower, the Colosseum. We also had one here in Guadalupe Bridge. I'm not sure if anyone caught that, but that was kind of the pre-announcement that Adele is coming, and people were super excited. And that came the confirmation that Adele is coming with her first single, which is "Easy on Me," coming out tomorrow, October 15th. If you're watching or listening to this live, UK time, midnight. And that's the first single which she already actually had a preview of on her Instagram live. So you can also go check that out. But breaking news, literally, as we were about to record, she just also announced that the full release date of the full album 30, which is coming out on November 19, 2021. So that's a whole thing to watch out for. After being broken by Red Taylor's version on
Oh,
November 14.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, oo
November
nga.
13
Dang.
yata.
oh,
So,
Goodness.
that's gonna be a depressed girl fall for all of us. Um, or depressed girl autumn. I'm not too sure what the correct term is, but something like
Something depressed girl.
yeah, something depressing and autumn or fall. But anyway, she also had the first ever double cover on the cover of Vogue America and British Vogue. First time ever yata na sabay yung cover na isang artist lang, and she looks absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
And I mean, not to say that she didn't already before, but
She always looks amazing.
exactly, parang it's just like, wow, the comeback of Adele is really upon us, and it's just super exciting, and I just can't wait. Kayo guys.
Honestly, I have no words because I'm just very, very excited to have her back. It's been too long, I think, since her last album, and we need to be broken again in the way that only Adele can do for us. For us. Yeah, she always looks great. Her fashion continues to she continues to be brave in her fashion choices, and I'm so excited for this new side of her to come out and see what else she can do, not just musically but like artistically as well. So yes, and watch her Instagram live, like regardless if you want to hear the preview or not, because she's so naturally
If you
funny.
wanna
Adele.
know about Adele's thoughts on collaborating with Peppa Pig,
Yeah.
go and watch that.
Watch it. Yeah. She's amazing. I just love her. Yeah.
And go Deany.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be interesting in a year or so to look at all the big artists that came out with 2021 releases, and like how they all sort of weave into that. Like, depressed girl autumn is a crude way of putting it, but it's accurate. It's like it's all kind of coping. They're like albums, maybe, I don't know, I haven't heard Red Taylor's version or 30, but it'll be interesting to look back and see like what this point in time sounded like in terms of our biggest pop stars. Because I was also thinking of like Solar Power, which is very much a coping with it album, as well as the new Casey Musgraves, which is also very much a coping with it album. So I feel like I have a gut feel the upcoming two albums will be in that same vein. Or maybe we can like look at it through that vein and then just see that yes, indeed, we were all going through it in 2021.
Yeah, we're all just depressed girls, whether it's autumn or summer.
Autumn,
Best
summer.
Girl
Winter.
2021.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the tweet. Pero I just have a theory that Taylor Swift Red Taylor's version was originally really supposed
yeah
to
nga eh.
November
19.
19.
It was,
So now that they have this information out, are they like, I mean, I think if they're not friends, they're like kind of good professional, like parang acquaintances. But I think they are friends on some level. And Taylor Swift is in the UK every so often. And there were a lot of rumors of Taylor and Adele collab somewhere down the road. So that might be on 30. We do not know. But that might be a signal of something Taylor knows. We do not know either. But Taylor knows everything and we do not.
Magpapapuzzle yan soon.
Sorry.
Magpapapuzzle yan soon. Wait.
Lalabas na lang may collab pa si Taylor with Adele on the 30 album, and that will break more, I don't know, records or
This
smash.
is what will get me to listen to her, to Taylor.
I mean,
This is
we did have folklore last year, which was kind of sort of depressing in some sense, also, at least for me personally. But yeah, I mean, Denny's right. We will get a glimpse of how that will feel in just over a month from now. So really exciting. But Burns, any comments on Adele?
Well, I just really think na Adele is like her music is special.
Mhm.
Like we do compare her her albums will be like depressing kind of year, but this is Adele. This is like 5 years worth of music na of her experience. So she's
After
gonna
a
be sharing
divorce.
she's gonna be sharing so much in this album. Like she's gone through a divorce. She has her journey, her self discovery, and technically she's like new experiences niya is kind of different than other artists.
Uh-huh.
So like this, yung mga yung madadamdam natin from this album will be somewhat different and how she expresses it. So like wow, I can't. My gosh, I have to be sad for one whole week
I'm pretty
Maybe more.
and maybe more.
More
And
like Fallout.
She describes it as the album is her way of explaining the divorce to her son. So if that sentence in itself was like any indication of what this album is going to be, it really will be depressed girl autumn, fall, November.
And yeah, to
Great.
add to that, she
Just
did
the whole
say-
album of So Big, So Small.
it's healing the world from Dear Evan Hansen, the movie.
Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, she did say also in that British Vogue interview that it's also her realizing how different her writing has been. Saying na the last three albums were about, oh, it's always the other person's fault. But this time around, parang it's a bit more introspective na, oh, what if there's a problem on my end as well? So that's something pretty exciting also to see how she'll turn that. I mean, in her words, turning the tables and seeing how she'll approach that as well. I guess I'm not too sure, but from the clip of Easy on Me, I guess she's asking us to go easy on her and what she's done in the last 5 years. But really exciting. The cover, she looks fantastic also. I think it's the first ever na full color talaga, na bright yung color din ng album niya. From the first three na medyo browns and like sepia
Sepias and monochrome.
yeah, black. So that might be an indication also of what music will be here. But nobody really knows anything at this point until we get to November 19. So any last words on Adele? We just love her and we're excited for
Stan
it.
Adele.
May it go easy on us, the music.
I'm sure it won't.
It won't. I'm 100% sure.
Ready to break our hearts. And I guess the final topic we have for the day, heading back to movies and Marvel as we always do. Well, What If just ended a week ago, and that was amazing. There were a few
Great
episodes. I would say that there were a few episodes that weren't really like as amazing as the rest, but generally overall, especially leading up to the last two episodes, were really just so fun, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about it more in detail in the next episode as well. Yeah. Anything else on What If? Siguro like short, ano lang.
I feel like if we start on What If, it's just going to derail this
Okay.
whole conversation.
Anyway, speaking of Marvel, just an announcement made also recently was that Will Poulter is officially Adam Warlock in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he will be introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is coming out, I think, in 2023 pa.
Yeah.
So, pretty long way to go for GOTG Volume 3. I'm not too sure if he'll make an appearance on the Christmas special at the end of 2022. But that's pretty exciting news. I mean, Adam Warlock's been teased in the first two movies na yata, or at least in the some of the
The
movies.
second one, yeah.
Definitely the second one. Definitely the second.
Yeah.
I think he was in one of those. I think he was in one of the 5 or several end credits.
And credit scenes, yeah.
And definitely Adam Warlock is like one of the most important like galactic or cosmic characters in the Marvel comics. And you know, it was I guess it's just about time that Will Poulter has entered the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, you know, at one of these days talaga pretty much all actors would have entered the MCU at one point in their career, right? At least the A-listers or the highly regarded ones. Yeah, Paula, thoughts?
I mean, it was I wouldn't want to say a surprising choice, but I think everybody was genuinely like shocked that it was confirmed, heard that it was announced. Because from my like immediate recollection of Will Poulter's filmography, the first thing that comes to mind is him as the annoying kid from the third Narnia movie, right?
It's not
And
the
then-
Weird the Millers meme.
Exactly, and that too. I unashamedly love We're the Millers. So it's very strange that these two characters that immediately come to mind when I think of Will Poulter. That and the fact that he looks like Sid from Toy Story. And this dude is going to be Adam Warlock, who is described in the comics as literally the most perfect being in the entire universe. And that's strange. Thinking of Sid from Toy Story as the perfect it's a very strange thought, but I've always thought that Will Poulter's a very good actor, and I'm just excited that he has more opportunities to show the type of actor that he really is, like We're the Millers type of acting aside.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for him.
Parang getting out of that mold that we very well know him from. Like, to be fair, you're right. Na parang,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really put him on the top of my list as Adam Warlock. I'd put like people who would look like Chris Hemsworth or something in that role.
Yeah, like more typically attractive,
Hunky.
conventionally attractive type of
Parang
men.
hunky-
Yeah.
Hunky men. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Marvel has really done a lot of bad choices in terms of casting so far, and that's like a really good track record in 25 movies, and
So
like
many.
3 series so far, 4 series and counting. So that's pretty. I feel like they wouldn't make that choice if they didn't know he was right for the role.
Yep. And like the Guardians movies have a great track record of casting like making unexpected casting choices and having it work out. Like, I mean, like back in
Chris
2014, no
Pratt,
one expected Chris Pratt to work out.
Uh-huh.
Like Dave Bautista's career was in like he has said that Guardians kind of saved his career. Bradley Cooper as a talking raccoon. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just great casting. That's just like I have many feelings about the Marvel movies, as all of you know, I'm sure. But the Guardians movies are like unabashedly they're the best of the Marvel movies. Just
Even the
I'm just
second
hyped.
one?
I love the second one. I love the second
Oh my
one.
god, Deany, we need to discuss. I need to know why.
It might be
I'm with-
top 3 for me. Guardians.
I'm with
2 is-
Paula
Oh?
on this.
We need to discuss after that. I'm confused. Okay, anyway.
But yeah, I'm hyped for new Guardians. I'm excited to see what Will Poulter does, and also this just means Elizabeth Debicki is coming back. So then,
Yes. Yes.
I'm never gonna say no to more Elizabeth Debicki. I am finally returning to the crown because of Elizabeth Debicki. So like I will watch Tenet eventually because of Elizabeth Debicki. So I'm just like very hyped, big Debicki stan.
Yeah, Burns.
I'm excited. I think it's an interesting choice to get Will Poulter. Like in nga, the casting, Sarah Hilifin, the casting director ng Marvel films, she does not do wrong talaga. And I'm pretty sure James Gunn had influence in getting the cast. So I'm pretty he sees something in Will Poulter. I mean, this guy he's pretty young pa, but he has range. I mean, he was in The Revenant, he was in We're the Millers, he was in
It wasn't The Revenant?
Yes, he was in The Revenant. yung kasama ni Tom Hardy.
And Bandersnatch, right? He was also.
Yeah, he was in
Bandersnatch. He was in Midsommar.
Yes.
He was, yun nga, he was obnoxious. He was in Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So yun nga, and
Was he, did he play the bear in the reference?
He was.
was he in the Maze Runner?
Yes, he was in the
I think
Maze Runner.
he was.
So, yeah, so he's been actually in quite a couple of movies na. So
Yeah.
being in a Marvel movie might like even shoot him even higher.
That's the hope. I love
Like
him.
So yun nga, I'm excited to see what they'll like. How will they turn into the perfect guy from the comics? That's pretty knowing James Gunn, he's gonna do something wild with Adam Warlock. So I can't wait to see that.
And exciting to see what else James Gunn does after the Suicide Squad, because that really showed us what he can do as like in terms of how insane he can get. So I'm just hyped in general.
What more would Marvel have allowed him after, kicking him out and like
And then bringing him back in.
He's got leverage. He's got leverage.
exactly. So that's pretty exciting. I guess we'll see that first during the what do you call this? During the Christmas special. But we will see Star-Lord first in Thor Love and Thunder, I believe.
Oh really?
Before
Yeah.
Guardians
He will be there?
3.
Oh?
Yes.
I mean, Thor is with the Guardians, so at
Yeah.
the very least,
Okay, that's true.
there'll be some Guardians.
So we're not gonna be we're not gonna be out of Guardians content, at least in the nearer future, before their own movie once again. And I guess that's becoming the beauty now of how people can really just cross over from show to show at this point, or movie to show to movie, whatever. But yeah, what do you call this? Also announced, there's a new announcement that was made about an Agatha TV series
Spin-off,
coming,
right?
As She Deserves, and as our Spooktober, one of our Spooktober queens, Miss Agatha Harkness is getting her own show, and that's pretty exciting. I'm not too sure how that's gonna work, but they can make anything work at this point, at least on my perspective, and I will eat it up regardless as a as a consumer of this content. Yeah,
Yeah, and more Catherine Hahn is always great.
exactly.
We need more Catherine Hahn.
I hope there's like a musical episode where she just sings all those like Agatha all. They cannot not like milk that in some sense on the Agatha series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel's at its most entertaining when you're casting good actors to do like random
Stupid
stuff.
Yeah.
Like Tony Leung in Shang-Chi, the best.
I mean, we wouldn't know. We haven't.
know any-
We
I'm
I'm
haven't
just saying
seen.
though, like in a week, roll out for Shang-Chi just to
Hi from
just to
Tony
see him
Leung.
as Roundup
Yan lang ang
scene.
Tony Leung na nakita ko. Anyway, yeah. I mean, that's Marvel news. Of course, we do have a lot of Marvel incoming. They're starting to roll out.
DC too.
They're starting to
Yeah.
roll out a lot of the marketing for Eternals now, and it's looking amazing. Chloe Zhao, wow. And oo nga pala, speaking of Chloe Zhao and like meeting like on the job people, and congrats to them. Congrats to
Yes.
congrats
To Eric
to
Matistimia, kay John
Yes.
Arcilia.
John Arcilia for winning Best
Go
Actor.
John Arcilia.
And all the fanboys of Bong Joon-ho and like Dennis Trillo literally bringing his Parasite book.
He is amazing, Denis Trillo. Like I've met him several times, and he's really just one of the most genuine people, the genuine celebs I've ever met. So happy for him to have had that limelight a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's really like a case of networks also na opportunities offered by GMA aren't necessarily as like groundbreaking or like gonna
True.
showcase their talent if they're not in films or shows like this. So I guess that's one of the reasons also. Yeah. And Paula's right. What do you call this? DC fandom is coming back. And
Yeah.
we'll probably have a full episode on that along with Disney Plus Day.
November, yeah.
12th, which will be the official streaming date of Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
And we'll finally get to see Shang-Chi after
I
a hit. But if theaters are opening
hate you, Deany.
Deany!
at this point, I've kind of just like, you know what?
I've just accepted it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just accepted the fact, and I'll wait till November 12th to see the movie. But if they are showing it in cinemas, I'll be there.
One way or another.
Yeah, probably siguro on an off hour para walang tao rather
Yeah, I'm
than
gonna take a lead
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's true.
maybe that is a good idea. You're right. So yeah, that's pretty much our show for this week. Any last news tidbits that we want to talk about before we head to our last bit of the show? So I will say, wow, that's pretty important of us for the first time ever. Um,
We can do brevity.
Yeah, apparently.
but yes, that leads us to our last bit of the show, which is our pop stop or our pop culture recommendations for this week, which will be very loaded, but we will try to tone it down because there are upcoming episodes naman for the show. Once again, we're happy to be back. So we'll probably not say everything that we want to recommend because eventually we will lose things to recommend. So we must keep them at bay until the further notice. But anyway, I think Paula does want to start this.
I have two things that I want to recommend. First, because it's the start of Spooktober, I genuinely want every single person on this planet to watch Midnight Mass. It is my favorite of all of Flanagan's works, and that to me says a lot as someone who is not a horror fan, but absolutely loved Haunting of Hill House. But Midnight Mass just takes it up several notches. The discussions on religion and how it affects particularly Catholics, as someone who's raised Catholic in a very Catholic country, a lot of the stuff in Midnight Mass really hits home, and everybody should watch it. So there's that. And then coming into the second thing that I really, really want to talk about, and it's
I would just say
honestly,
yes.
honestly the only thing that's been occupying me these last
Can't
few
even
weeks.
said it yet.
I know. So if you haven't watched it yet on Netflix, watch Drive to Survive. It's all about Formula One. I swear to God, like I'm not a sports type of person like that. I watch sports religiously. I may have had a basketball phase in college and high school, but nothing has compared to the level of obsession that F1 has had on my body. It is an amazing sport that for a lot of people you could probably get into it because hot drivers and a lot of them. If that's what gets you into it, that's great. But aside from that, the sport itself is exhilarating. The strategies
fascinating.
involved, it's great, and it's relatively easy to follow as well in terms of like because with basketball there's too many games to catch up on, right? If you really want to get into the season, F1 has like a race every week or every other week, so it's very easy for you to watch and try to understand the sport. And yeah, I really don't know how more to sell Formula One. It's fantastic.
Just type Daniel Ricciardo on
Or Carlos Sainz Jr. My goodness,
and you will find out what
these two
Paula-
racers. Or Charles Leclerc.
Oh my
There's
gosh,
just so
yes,
many drivers,
Charles
guys.
Leclerc.
There are 20 drivers to choose from. It's like having a K-pop bias. It's so hard. There's so many boys, but all of them are great. Ayun. And then the principal of Red Bull, his wife rather is Ginger Spice. So that's fascinating. But
For
yes, F1.
For the Spice Girls fans.
The Spice Girls fans out there. But yeah, just generally F1, guys. Whether it's because of Drive to Survive or because you watch YouTube clips or TikTok videos of the drivers, it's amazing. There's a world of content after watching the Netflix series.
Honestly, it's just really so good. I just must add to Paul. As an influenced by Paula person, just like trying to convince me, and
I wore him down eventually.
Yeah, and you know what? I gave in, and I do not regret anything. And I'm now trying to convince so many people to just watch F1 Drive to Survive because I mean, as on top of the what Paula has already mentioned, the documentary series itself does parang ang ganda ng storytelling kasi talaga to get you hooked into the
The
drivers'
drama.
lives, the dramas, the actual getting into the races and what they do.
Yeah.
And to add to that, as a fan of Cars, the Disney Pixar movie, it makes so much sense now. Na parang this is what Lightning McQueen's life is. But he's a car.
Dude, I watched Cars recently and I just realized that Michael Schumacher was there.
Yes, he
What
was.
the hell?
It's
Of course, I had no
crazy.
idea. Yeah.
So like Guido and parang siya yung pit stop. And also being a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, like, you actually see a real life drag race with a real life pit crew and a
Yeah.
pit stop and everything. So, the range has been unlocked from
Yes.
Cars, RuPaul's Drag Race, and now Formula
F1.
One.
No, but also if you're a fan of like sports animes, it's really interesting the Drive to Survive series because it feels that way as well, that you want to root for every single driver on the grid, which doesn't normally happen for sports. So Drive
So,
to Survive.
Yes, F1 Drive to Survive, and Daniel Ricardo, that's spelled R-I.
Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo. Goodness.
So
and
good.
Carlos Sainz Jr.
Charles Leclerc.
Okay, I'm good.
And that's Paula's super fangirling, but I don't blame her, honestly. So good. And it's super bite-sized episodes, 30 to 40 minutes. So madali lang siyang panoorin talaga. So that's our F1 Boodle for the week.
And then he can go next.
Yes, Deany can go next because he has an interview or a call after
A
this.
thing, yeah.
Okay. So I'll limit it to things that are accessible now, but also watch Detain wherever and whenever you can.
When we can, if we can, even.
Wherever, whenever. But recommendations, I've been listening to a ton of Casey Musgraves' new album, Star-Crossed. It is basically like a dark reprise of Golden Hour. She uses a lot of the same themes and tools, and it's just some real sad girl stuff, man. Like sad yeehaw emoji. Just me sitting and thinking about life as I listen to Camera Roll about 25 times on loop. It's one of the best albums of the year. Definitely don't miss it. I've also been listening to a lot of, even if she doesn't have an album this year, a lot of Phoebe Bridgers. The 1-2 of Silk Chiffon, which is like a perfect pop song. Silk Chiffon is just the way it's constructed. Her collab with Muna is just a great pump up song in the morning. Just the drive away. I have to wake up in the morning. It's just like it pumps you through work. And also maybe it's gonna be my most listened song of the year when Spotify rolls it out. Her cover of That Funny Feeling from Bo Burnham's Inside is on Spotify. Please stream it as many times as you want. It is, I feel like, the song of the year in terms of it captures what 2021 has felt like. And yeah, go Phoebe, great artist, and listen to the new Mitski if you can. Also, I don't watch it, but I'll be remiss to note for my many friends who are Succession heads. The new Succession season has started, so get on that if you're into that. I'll probably start it soon. But my Succession friends will not forgive me if I don't mention it. I'm good.
And Prince?
Wow. Since the last time I'm now back in the pop culture groove. I'm so happy about it. But because of the lack of movies coming out, I just caught up with all the series that I missed. So I'm caught up now with American Horror Story. I'm caught up with all the Arrowverse. I'm currently watching Supergirl right now because it's the last season. And tomorrow, the new seasons of Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman are out.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
Yeah, I'm deep in
I've
that na
given
talaga.
up on the Arrowverse.
Yeah, I'm actually like good for you also for being able to keep up with that.
Wala, I'm a DC fan. But at this point, they're just an like entertainment value na lang.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I feel like kasi it started when we were parang end of high school, beginning
yeah,
of college. So we were kind of in that phase pa na that was the type of media we would kind of consume. But since then kasi it's kind of become really the golden age of TV or the renaissance of TV. So I feel like with the influx lang of new content and different types of content, medyo nabaon lang yung Arrowverse. But I feel like if
yeah,
you do get into that black hole, it's something that a lot of people just really enjoy. And I've been hearing really good things about Superman and Lois.
yeah, no, I will get to
I
that.
heard that's
Yeah.
really great.
But but what I will recommend is I'm in the middle of the latest season of American Crime Story, Impeachment, which is about yeah.
Right.
It
Nice.
well, I still think the first one, the one about OJ, is the best because it's very well structured courtroom drama. This new season is very more character driven, actor driven, much like the second one. Because here, Beanie Feldstein is amazing. Like she's the one who makes each like the most like I just watched the latest episode a few hours ago. She ano talaga she owns it because the entire episode takes place in a room. For people who know what happens during the impeachment, it happens in a room, and she's so vulnerable. You can see that she's scared, but she's also a strong woman who knows that she's just doing what's right for her, but she's also at the same time confused. Ang galing, she's just so good. And this is coming from the same show that has Sarah Paulson in it, who is again unrecognizable, but still, as every Ryan Murphy, she's just gonna keep doing her best. So yun nga, it's very slow. It really takes a while to get the drama going, but it's the performances that make the ano talaga worth it. And my other recommendation is ongoing in 41st season of Survivor, and I'm so happy that I'm what I watched in my childhood and binge watched for 5 months. I am now on track again, and there's a Filipino. There's a Filipino competing.
Oh.
Yes, she's the fifth Filipino, Filipino heritage competitor. So far, her tribe is doing so well. So I hope I don't jinx it, but she's not standing out yet. So maybe that will change. But yun nga, it's a very different season. So if you guys are fans of Survivor, this is a very different. The game has completely changed because of the COVID pandemic. I'm guessing that's why. But this season is showing that Survivor is changing with the times. There's been a lot of growth the past 20 years, pero this season it's changing. Like it's adapting to what an audience may or may not want. It's including their viewers they acknowledge their presence, and yun nga, this season is more personal. Like the contestants are mas intimate yung interviews nila when they're talking to the camera, and yun nga, the social politics of it never gets old. So yun nga.
You know, I have really yet to watch a full season of Survivor, so maybe I should one of these days. But that's what I say about everything on my never-ending list
Yeah.
of things. So I don't know, like, you know, sa mga nakikinig lagi at nanonood lagi dito na parang, wow, how do you even keep up with all our recommendations? We have like a ton of recommendations every week. You just really have to pick your popcorn bias and choose what the recommendations are for the week or something like that. Anyway.
Wait, guys, I have an update. William Shatner just went into space, like right now.
For real?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
The Trekkies are gonna go wild.
At 90 years old, he's the oldest person to leave the globe.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, rightfully
there
so.
it is.
It's Kirk.
There it is. Yeah, I just saw that.
That's
Wow.
very interesting.
Nice little pahabol update. Solid.
He made it. Good for him.
Good for him. Good for him.
Good for him.
The final voyage nga naman talaga.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go to space when Earth is like this, right?
I mean, you have to come back to Earth in like 90 seconds.
That is true, but at least experience that in in your life or something like that.
Also, it's Shatner. I feel like it's just appropriate that he gets to go
Yeah.
to space. Yeah.
All right. And for my recommendations for the week, I want to say Free Guy. It's a really
Yes, that was
Yeah, Free
so
Guy.
oh my
fun.
gosh, like you know what? Some movies are just like wala namang there's social commentary, but not really like super deep stuff, and that's sometimes just what we need in this time. Just really like fun dumb stuff, and this is fun dumb stuff. And there's just like one part where just like completely geeked out and died, and I literally screamed even though I knew what was kind of gonna happen. I still like wow. But I feel like Ryan Reynolds kasi really also knows his ano talaga what he does best, and he really makes use of that skill set of just being the funny white guy or something like that. Meta humor, something. And he uses that to his benefit in this movie, and even with some commentary about being a white NPC in free guy world. So yeah, pretty fun, and all the actors on this as well. Of course,
Yeah.
Taika is on here. See Jodie Comer is on here as well. We must give a shout out to her. And it's just really like really good fun if you're into video games. I'm not like super deep into video games naman, but just like Ready Player One, I feel like it's Ready Player One meets
For
Wreck-It
for
Ralph
gamers. Yeah.
in some sense with Ryan Reynolds in it. That's how you can kind of describe it. And it's just really masaya lang siya panoorin and nakakagaan lang ng loob. And it's actually pretty funny. So that's one, Free Guy. Second is a show called Only Murders in the Building. I know Paula loves. It's a Hulu show starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Martin Gomez. I mean, Selena Gomez. Joke lang. Selena Gomez is the third one. She's not a Martin. She doesn't have Martin in her name. But it's really fun. If you were a fan of the
Murder mysteries.
podcast serial, it's kind of a plays on the parang it's kind of like a parody of some sense of the super popular podcast serial. And if you haven't heard Serial yet, you should. It's I think the podcast that opened up my world into podcasts to begin with. Really, really fun stuff, murder mystery stuff. We're into that, but played really well. And perfect casting of the three leads who are also generally producers of the show as well. But really, just really fun stuff about making fun of podcasts even, and it's just the world we live in, and it's just really fun to have these murder mystery shows done really well. And good nod also to Serial. So Paula, you have anything to say about Only Murders?
I mean, it's a surprisingly good chemistry between mostly just Selena Gomez interacting well with these two actors who we know have a good chemistry to begin with. But yeah, surprising casting all around. All of the characters that you'll meet throughout the series are very interesting and very well written, I'd like to say so. And if any episode would be worthy of any nomination, I would say episode 8 so far has probably been the best one in the series, and it was nice to see that kind of representation done well on a show. Yeah,
Galing.
so,
The way
yeah, really good show.
yeah. Very conceptual, but it's still very bagay with the show. I miss Community and how they did sort of these parang
Seasons 1 to 3, yes.
yeah. And finally, on the music aspect, I have a new song called Zesto. It's not my song, but there's a new song called Zesto which is out now. It's by this guy called Young Coco. He's kind of known for his song called Manila, which was parang recognized by a lot of a lot of K-pop stars, including RM apparently and Yeri of Red Velvet. So
You
he's
had me
coming
at
out.
RM.
Uh-huh. So it's really, really such a fun song, and the music video, which you'll probably be able to watch once we're airing this and you're watching this or listening to this. Kasi this is marketed to Southeast Asia. So his label kasi is Southeast Asian. It's called Off Mute. And it's really like a fun nod to Southeast Asian culture in a sense. A lot of fun Easter eggs to watch out for. So, someone new to watch out for in the music scene is Young Coco. Stream Manila and Zesto from him are really, really good stuff. And I'm sure it's like some of the songs na you just can't get out of your head. And I hope everyone feels the same way about it. So I have one last, but I will say it in the next episode because, there's just too much and we have to give way for people to consume these things.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for this week's episode of Popcorn. That's a lot, and we're happy to be back, of course. Coming this month, definitely a Halloween episode. We're still gonna figure out how we're gonna do that Halloween episode this year. But thanks, guys, for being here today and being back here on Popcorn. Feels great as always. One last thing to promote pala as part of Popcorn, Pop Stop as well. radyo-katipunan is actually holding a concert called the Ave Maria, a choral festival for Our Lady. And since it's the month of the Holy Rosary, join the Jesuit Music Ministry or JMM in honoring Mother Mary through this concert, which will be live streamed here on Radyo Katipunan on October 30, Saturday at 8 p.m. So it will feature your favorite Jesuit Music Ministry choirs and guest friends from the choral scene. So this actually serves as a fundraiser of Jescom and Radyo Katipunan for Pamaskong Handog outreach program to give away Christmas packages for various communities and recipients. So for more details on this concert, please visit jescom.ph or the Facebook page of Jescom and Jesuit Music Ministry. And of course, here on Radyo Katipunan, again, that is Ave Maria, a choral festival for Our Lady on October 30th, Saturday at 8 p.m. So go check that out. And with that, that is the end of our Popcorn for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, we are here live on Radyo Katipunan every Thursday at here. And thank you to the Radyo Katipunan fam for the support all the time. And of course, go stream your favorite Popcorn episodes and episodes that you may have missed on our podcast. That's here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you stream your podcasts. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo